Hello. I'm gonna adjust the mirror here. Well, we're technically live in 3 minutes. So, I'm just gonna say hello to people and maybe try to I don't know, share this? Yeah, sharing is caring. Hello everyone. You came early. Nice to see you. I hope you're good, everyone. I'm just gonna copy some links. Copy and maybe paste it somewhere. I don't know. How about Twitter? I don't know. Yeah, let's tweet. And yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try to have my comments right here. Yeah. Although it's really tiny, the text is very small. Yeah. So hey, I hope you're all good over there, out in the world. I'm fortunate because I can work from home and I can work in my studio. So my office habits don't have to change that much. But enough about that. Let's forget about all of that for a moment. This is a MOOG MATRIARCH. And out of all the MOOG stuff, I don't have any MOOG products. I have the MOOG iPad Modular Synth, but that's the only, and the other iPad MOOG Synth, the MOOG. Yeah, those are the only MOOG products that I've had, but this one in particular I'm really interested in, so that's why I chose this as my first proper MOOG synthesizer, and I'm stoked about that. Okay, so I'm gonna catch up with some comments here. Hi there, Riley. Very excited. Thank you. I'm excited too. Photux bar. Yeah. Hello. I see you. Got my Hermod. Immediately started consuming all the NerdSeq content in existence. Yeah. NerdSeq. This is a sequencer called NerdSeq. It's a very good sequencer, and it's the sequencer that got me interested in for real doing something with Modular, because typically I like to compose really tight little snippets, and I think this one in particular meets my needs. And I've tried a bunch of different sequencers, and they're all good in their own respective way, but this is the one for me. NerdSeq, very nice. Let's see, some more. Hello, Cuckoo from northeast of England. Hello there. Nice to see you joining in. And sounds beautiful. Thank you. Life is good. Yeah, life is not too bad. For us fortunate. Love you, bro. Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Cool. So, let's see, how many people are here? Can I see that somewhere? Yeah, 122. Wow, that's really neat. Thanks for joining in. That's super cool. Let's see. I just want to double check. I think I have the audio more or less under control, but if the audio is distorting or anything, just give me a shout and maybe I'll see it in the comments and adjust it. But I hope the audio is okay. I hope my voice is coming through, and yeah, the music is coming through. Cool. So what I'll do first is to play around. Oh, thank you. Audio is good. Thanks. That's good to hear. So what I'm going to do now is to just play around a little bit with what I've been doing today. And then I'll explain it, how I did it, and maybe we can build further or do stuff. Hey, Freddie, thank you so much for a little donation there. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks again for the Zoya help during yesterday. But yeah, no worries. welcome. Okay, so I'll do now is to play a little bit. Now you can all speculate on how I did all of this. Perhaps by the wiring you get a fair idea. Okay, so I'm just gonna play, I don't know, for a couple of minutes, maybe 5 or 7 minutes. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, how about that? That is my first modular performance in years, actually. Yeah, how do you like that? I didn't keep up with the comments during this. Yeah, obviously I could have prepared more and make a whole set or a whole song, but yeah. So I'm gonna see what you're writing here. More drums. Yeah, I could have prepared more variations of the drums and stuff. The MATRIARCH sounds amazing. Yeah, it does. I agree. I really like it. And it's very, very open to do stuff. Monstrous Moonshine. That was lovely, Cuckoo. Thank you so much. Pablo loved it. Thank you. Yeah. I see rainbows. Yeah. That's nice. That's a nice thing. That's all good stuff. Thank you, Tony York. Thanks. Yeah, cool. So, what's going on here? If you're kind of keen on if you know how to operate modulars and stuff, you had a few minutes now to kind of look over the rig or the patch. Basically, what I'm doing, this is a semi-modular synth, and what that means is that it's partly patched already, so I could just start playing it without any cables. But what I've done now is to use a modular sequencer, the NerdSeq in this case, and I'm using that to sequence a bunch of stuff in the synth. So, and then plus all the drums coming from the sample memory on the NerdSeq, so you can play samples on that too. and it's giving this kind of 8-bit vibe. So if I go try to isolate this, maybe, yeah, actually I have a secondary camera here, I think. Let's cut to that, to NerdSeq. There we go. Yeah. Right here is a tracker. So you divide it up into different tracks, and then each track can send out a bunch of different CV. So what I've done is track 1 is sequencing oscillator 1, the pitch of oscillator 1. It's also sequencing, it's firing off the amp VCA on the synth. And okay, I'll switch camera again to see it. Okay, maybe I've brought all my cameras that I have and tried to make this a memorable event here. So maybe I'll do it with my handheld shot. Okay. So all of these are controlling pitch. So pitch coming out from channel 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're coming to control these, the oscillators. 1, 2, 3, 4. The oscillators, they only have one common amp VCA. It's right here. So this is opening the VCA, and it's closing the VCA. This is an envelope letting out the whole sound of this synth, and then that sound is being sent into the stereo delay there. So I'm doing some tricks with the bass, for instance. I'm not sure. I mean, inside of it, there is a sort of on-off gate per oscillator that they use when you play paraphonic, but there is no way to connect to it. So I had to kind of do a little trick there. So if I bring back the place where I'm playing a bass, let's say, I think let's play this row. Maybe I'll just bring down the volume a bit. So so what I'm doing here, I'm just gonna mute the drums for now. Where's the drums? This? Stop. No, that was wrong. Stop. Yeah, I'm still not used to it. So, okay. So the mixer here, the mixer is a place where you can mix in all of the oscillators one by one. This is oscillator 1. I'm gonna kill the delay as well, and this is the second oscillator, and I'm sequencing them like separately in tones, but they share the same the same envelope. But with this one, you can hear clearly that I'm playing a different bass rhythm there. And if we listen carefully, I'm faking it. I'm turning the bass to the lowest frequency in order to kind of invent a little gate there that doesn't exist. So giving this a different rhythm. I think maybe I did that on this track as well. And this one, I'm using a table. The NerdSeq has an excellent feature that is very, very, yeah, what do you call it? It's like a subroutine of notes that fire really quickly, and you can call that whenever you need it. It's really neat. It's called a table. Together. Okay. Okay, so, and then all of that is going into this rather simple to operate but beautiful sounding stereo delay. And I've got the spacing, that means the stereo to max to have the maximum stereo vibe. If I bring it to 0, it becomes a mono. Yeah. So basically, what it's doing is applying different timing on the different right and left part of the delay. So when I increase it, yeah. And then the drums. And then I just play around with different parameters. One thing that I noticed when I started working with this is that the keyboard, I'm using MIDI to connect to NerdSeq in order to punch in notes in the sequencer a little bit faster. But I also realized that whenever I press a key, I also transpose everything. So everything is transposed, all the oscillators, they are instantly following the keyboard whenever I press it. Even though I'm controlling them with voltage here, that is going to be relative to the pitch that is set by the keyboard. So I was actually planning to kind of play a solo on the keyboard and have this sequence, but it didn't really work that way. So I had to just embrace that for what it is and use this for transposing instead. And what I did then is that there is a glide function down here. Glide, it's portamento. And if it's, let's see. So right now the glide is at 0. That means instant transpose. But if the glide is a bit up, I can do that really cool. I really enjoy this way. And then like a slow one, and then a fast. Yeah. What else? Yeah, I'm applying some FM synthesis from the modulation here. This is an LFO, and the LFO can run at audio rate. So I'm not synchronizing the audio rate of the LFO right now. So what I can do is just apply some FM, linear FM to oscillator 1. It sounds like this. So I'm just gonna play. It's actually always slightly on, I think. It's also messing up the pitch a bit. And also, another thing you might have heard is that when I used the modulation, the mod wheel, that it's also pre-configured, so you can send the LFO to certain destinations. And I sent the LFO to cutoff amount. So it's actually sending it to this knob just insanely fast. So that also becomes somewhat like FM, AM maybe, or filter modulation. And also it has a similar vibe to that because it's the same frequency. So it sounds like this. If I take another. And that effect applies on everything going through the filter. So that becomes also becomes sort of like an expression. Yeah. And as you heard now, right now I'm going to just start the sequencing of oscillator 1. But all of the others, they're open. So if I start the sequencer of oscillator 2, it sounds like this. And these two, they're still open, but they're not sequenced. So they're just chilling out at the place where they were. So now I'm sequencing these 3. Yeah. I'm gonna bring in the sequencing of number 4 here. That's the one that has kind of the arpeggiator. And the mod wheel works too. And one thing that I didn't do in the little performance now, but I planned to do, but I forgot, is play around with the sync enable frequency synchronized. So I can, let's say I'm bringing in oscillator 1 there. I press this frequency sync. Let's say maybe it's the other way around. So now it's synchronized, it's kind of hard synced. If I do that on all of them, it's kind of gnarly. And then I could turn all of them off, like so. Okay, we've listened to this loop for a long time now. So yeah, I was super curious about this workflow. How can I work with this in this way? And I'm super stoked that I could do it this way. The only thing that kind of had me thinking a bit, scratching my head or my beard, was the fact that this is transposing everything. So in order to kind of live play while I'm doing all of this sequencing, I would probably have to use a secondary keyboard and send that into one of these, or maybe even like combine a keyboard and one of these to kind of override or play at the same time. Yeah, that's the... Actually, I can do it because the output here on the back, the keyboard output, it has CV output on the back. So I could probably do it with this keyboard, but it's also going to transpose when I'm playing. So it'll be a mess. Yeah, so yeah, that's like a brief explanation of the setup here. And is there anything I forgot? Yeah, I'm doing kind of a filter sweep at some points, and I'm doing that from the sequencer here. The sequencer, the NerdSeq, has a really good page here called Automate, and this is the place. I'm going to switch the camera. Yeah, Automate. Automate is a really good place where you can fire off different LFOs currently. And in the future, there will be envelopes there too. So at will, I'm kind of sending out a momentary, like a vibrato signal over to the filter, and or I'm sending a trigger to the filter even. Let's see, which one is going? Oh yeah, that's the way I did it. I'm sending a trigger to the filter to the filter envelope, and then the filter envelope fires off, and it's doing a slow attack, a slow decay, and a slow release, and that is applied to the filter. So in some parts of the song it's going like yeah. And let's have a look at that table too. The table is a cool place. There's like a super tiny little table, just some is 4 instructions. So whenever this table number 0 is called, it's going to run at speed 2, not insanely fast, but quite fast, and it's going to make play these 4 lines there and say whatever tone is playing, play it 7 semitones up, and then 12 semitones up, and then what's that in hex? I can't remember. Is it like, yeah? And then it's playing this super fast, old school kind of. I always think about Commodore 64, like SID music, when I hear this super fast arpeggios. Yeah, and that is also something that I just punch into the sequencer really fast. So that is what I've done here, and yeah, the only thing I've used outside of NerdSeq is a mixer up here, and yeah, nothing else. So now I'm gonna read the comments. I find it really difficult to kind of keep up with the comments at the same time. Also, it is kind of tiny. Yeah. So if I were to create like a whole set, I would love to do stuff like this. That would be super cool. Like perhaps you could play like how would I do that? So if I don't take over oscillator 1, that would be played by this. So if I yank this cable and yank this and yank this. Okay, these two are yanked. So let's see what happens when I run the sequencer now. Now NerdSeq is not going to send any envelope or any trigger to the envelope. So we can listen to the drums though to kind of know that we're in. But other than that, all of the sequencing is going to be there except for the pitch of oscillator 1. That could be interesting. Start. Okay. So if I turn off the drums and just freestyle to this, okay, it's playing a whole cycle. Okay. That is kind of interesting too. Yeah. And then when the sequencer is taking over, of course, that's when we can do this super tight stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Now, sorry, I told you I'm going to keep up with the comments, and then I just find out new stuff that I want to do. Okay. So, thanks for the donation, by the way. I've rarely used this donations stuff. What's it called? Super chat or whatever it's called on YouTube before. Just turned it on a couple of weeks ago, so that you can donate if you want to. And so thank you. That's really nice. Let's see. Nice music. Okay, yeah. Cuckoo just told us the meaning of life. You missed it, bro. Yeah, the meaning of life is, oh, sorry, I forgot. Okay, sounds about right. Okay, it's that. I think you're just chatting amongst each other, right? Okay, sorry if I'm slow, but why did it sound like it was all in the same key, no matter where you were playing, if you were transposing all of the oscillator up and down? Yeah, that's a good question. Let's okay. So I'm just gonna play it now. I just disconnected oscillator 1 there from the control. Actually, all of them are transposing at the same time. Everything is transposed from the keyboard. I don't think there is a way to override completely to make the oscillators adhere to the incoming signal only. So it's always going to be. But there is one thing going on. There is a little buzz there coming from the modulation, the FM modulation, which is not being transposed. This and that one might kind of give you a little hint of a static tone there. So there's almost gone. And then when I'm sequencing this, one thing is that if I just start one of the sequences, like if I just start sequence for track number 2 there, these are just going to be standing on one tone. Let's see. Yeah. So it is, I think you're right. It did sound like it was kind of always stay in the same pitch there, but it really wasn't. It's maybe because I was playing in the same scale. That's probably a little illusion. Or maybe this was it. Like I was just playing one. Yeah. Another thing I noticed with the Moog, I mean, if you're a Moog user, maybe you know this already, but like the quality of the filter is really interesting. I think I met with Peter Edwards a couple of years ago, and he's working for Bastel Instrument. He's really cool, making super gnarly feedback modules. And he told me something. He said like a good mixer, a performance mixer, must distort nicely, must have a good overdrive. It must sound nice when you overdrive the signals. And I think the filter here has that quality. If I overdrive the filter, the sounds going into the filter, it's going to start distorting in a way that I like. So if we demonstrate that now, let's see. I'm going to stop this. Okay, just one oscillator. I'm going to take away the FM there. So just a clean oscillator. I'm going to crank the volume a bit. Okay, so I'm going to start firing off more and more sound. Could you hear the quality of the sound there when you go above the nice place there? Let's see. That is a really nice distortion. So if I have two oscillators. Okay, I'm gonna yank this cable too and play paraphonic. There's no distortion now, but when I drive it, that is a nice distortion in my built-in overdrive. Yeah. That is good. And then if you do that with different filter settings, nothing is going on here. It's just two oscillators going into the filter at a too loud volume. I think it's very nice. So what if we do this? I'm gonna lower the volume here with a different type of sound, like square wave. Maybe I should lower the volume for this one. And also, when I, under these conditions, increase or decrease the resonance, let's take the resonance all the way to 0 here and do the same thing. I'm going to do it with a smooth sound. Okay, and then we're going to mess around with cutoff and resonance. Okay, this is in stereo mode. In the parallel mode, it sounds like this. Now it's basically two, it's a high pass and a low pass. Yeah, that's the sound of it. And spacing is the knob that takes these two filters now and drifts them apart. Whoa. Yeah. So, okay, how about the sequence now? I'm gonna put this back in control here. Pitch in, trigger. Whoa. Now that beat that I made, I thought it was kind of high energy, a high energy beat, and to this sound it sounds like super like low key, like I thought it was like, yeah, this is high energy, and now with this kind of roaring sound, the beat is just very bland. Okay, I'm gonna read some comments here. Dan Thomas, I'm not so fond of editing trackers, but lately I've been inspired to embrace it after seeing Knob's take on the new Polygon tracker. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Like the NerdSeq and every tracker basically is a screen where you input little things in a very small window, and it's tables and lines, and it looks a bit like an old computer, and that's where it comes from. But I think the power of tables in the NerdSeq, which you can bring in anytime you want, that is so much fun. So if I were to make a whole new sequence here, let's do that. So let's switch the camera. Okay, that's as close as I can get. Maybe I should move it. Let's see. Like, yeah, well, you can see it. Is it in focus, by the way? I moved it. Like, I want it super crisp. Is that crisp enough? Yeah. So what I want to do here now is to just create a new little pattern. So I put my cursor here on an empty space and press OK, and it just created something. And then press OK again to enter. So it's right here. It's a long list of nothing. So what I want to do with this list, it's now currently on track 1 there. So I go in there and make a little simple sequence. And now the keyboard is connected to the NerdSeq expander that is up here. So I can punch in notes with MIDI. I could do it better in a much nicer way, but you can live record and stuff in it. But I haven't set it up to do that right now. So, ooh, okay, I'm gonna dial down this, make it a little nice sound, make it less roaring. Stereo. Old school square, a little release time. Okay. So whenever I play the keyboard now, you can see this changing. But it's a little bit weird because it's also transposed. I should have had like an external keyboard for this. Because when I play a D now, it's gonna be sent out and then it's going to be transposed. So I'm going to just turn off the volume while I sequence it, because right now it's set up to transpose. So which would be the best way to do it? I'm just going to what? Okay, so now, okay, I'm gonna yank this cable out, sorry, and just let the keyboard transpose on its own. So the way to punch in notes here is just to So the way I'm doing it now, I'm just setting new notes, but I don't tell it to release the keyboard. In order to do that, I could press and then move the cursor and then release. Like for instance here, press, move, release, and it creates this little release input there. I could also do that by pressing Shift and Delete 2 times. Okay. And that is going to be a long note there. So set up, delete. Okay. I'm going to listen to this now. How about that? That's a nice little sequence. Making short popping notes, and now I can start increasing the length of the release time here if I want. And one thing I want to highlight now is the table, because the table is so cool. The table, what I could do with the table is to any place here now. So like on the long note there, I can go into this lane, the table lane, and say, okay, shift and right, no, shift and up. I want to fire off table number 0 here. And it's going to be, okay, maybe down there. Table number 0 all the way to here, which I'm pressing shift and down, I think. Shift and down to end that table. And now I'm going to play it. Isn't that beautiful? So let's take another one. So how about this other long note here? How about this one? Do the same thing there. Oh, with beats. How about one there? Let's punch it in. Over there. Well, didn't work so well up there. Maybe I'm gonna move this. So now I make a little sequence there with the NerdSeq. And another thing that I've been using here is, let's see where. I'm going to go into the automate lane here. I prepared 2 LFOs that I can also use. So one LFO there is sending pitch changes to track 2 and track 3, but I could go in there and say, yo, how about sending it to track 1 that we're working on now as well. So if I want to try it, I could just turn it on. And the way to call to, let's see, I'm going to change some values in this. I'm going to go into this, go to the phase. I want the phase to start. How about starting it in the beginning? I made a change before. Okay. So the same thing applies here. The tables, they had its own little lane there. And if I go here to the effects, I can bring out the automation there. The lane 0. So automate number 0 is the one we're going to use. So how about right here? We could do some vibrato. So same thing there, shift and right. There's a bunch of different things you could do. I'm gonna fire this to some extent, and then immediately afterwards I'm gonna turn it off. Oops, where is it? So turn it on, turn it off. Oh, how about that? So we've got a little nice vibrato there. So I'm gonna take another one, try to catch it. Right there. Okay, if I how about there? Let's see. It's the wrong one. Yeah, so there's a bunch of inputs. Too much. Yeah, there we go. And then you just keep going. This is sending CV and stuff. You can also prepare a little MIDI output track if you want to. Yeah. Okay. Comments. Let's see. Are you all doing all right over there? What about the Nintendo controller plug? Yeah, up here on the NerdSeq, A little bit further up here, let's see, yeah, I've got to zoom. Up there, there is a Sega game controller input. So if you have a Sega Mega Drive controller, you can just plug it right in and control it, which is nice. You can't do everything, but you can, or maybe you can actually. Well, you can move around and do stuff. Yeah. And I think you can hold Shift and Sync enable down to enter global parameters, and then press both of the lowest white keys to turn off the local keyboard. Cool. Shift and Sync enable. Yeah, I need to spend more times with the manuals, I think. Keyboard will output CV and could be patched from the back into an oscillator. Yeah, totally. Cool. Okay. How about this? Yeah, Gear Horse says this synth has a huge sweet spot. Yeah, I agree. I think it's super nice. It has a big, oh, there you go. It has a yeah, huge sweet spot, but also you can make some pretty dull stuff too, of course. But yeah, when you really start using it, I mean, if you just muck around and don't try to accomplish something, that's usually when it's maybe not working out that well. But then, like now, I just made this little melody and I start to love it. Like, yeah, thinking about like, ooh, I should sequence this track too and do a little a nice thing there. So yeah, it's nice. Yeah, cool. Exor Electronic is here, and he's the one who made this NerdSeq. So that's really cool. He can answer everything. He knows everything here. So remove the 40 in the trigger columns, and you get long notes. 40 is a short trigger. Yeah. So you can do. You can control the length, I guess, both in the trigger lane, but also with key off stuff. Yeah. One thing with the tracker workflow is that everything is laid out. All the all of the like all the patterns that are made, you can just line them up here and type them into this grid. And one line, if you want to fire off a whole line in a go, just put the cursor on that line and press Shift and Start. If you just press Start, it's going to play just that one. If Shift and Start is going to queue up everything that is on that line. So I can press stop on these 2, 3, queuing up stop. I can go there, press start on these. So now it's going to run a few up from up there and a few from down here, and maybe the beat from down there. So it's very flexible that way. It's just about getting used to what you can do and find ways to use that. So this is like a super nice way to build up stuff. Just have stuff available and just press them and play them in the order you want to. Like borrow a sequence from a different song that might be like chilling out down here somewhere. And then you can just go, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I had that beat going, and just play that beat. And then you go up here and have the rest of the song up here. And whenever you play stuff in a successive order, that is considered a chain. So that is going to play through together in a chain. But I've done it I've created spaces between them here so that I can mix and match. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So this is the stuff that I've been doing lately, and I'm digging it. One thing that I think is worth mentioning, which is not sure how unusual. I find it a little bit of a novelty. I think it's pretty cool that the modulation LFO, this one, can go up to audio rate. I think maybe it is actually an oscillator, just modified to be an LFO. So for making FM, I think this is nice because you have a sine wave here, which is very useful in FM synthesis. So yeah, cool. I don't really know what to do now, so please ask me some questions, and maybe if you want me to show something, maybe I could start from scratch with something, or just hang out and chat. So I'm just gonna see some comments. Yeah, and thanks XOR Electronics for answering questions and stuff. This is yeah, he's the man. Reminds me of CMI Fairlight Sequences UI. Yeah, wasn't that a tracker? I can't remember. I think I never tried it myself. Rodrigo, so Cuckoo, do you recommend the MATRIARCH? Yes, I do, but you need to know that it's not for everyone. This is for someone that is interested in exploring and doing sound design, and if you're interested to do this stuff connected to your modular, or maybe you just have one little modular, like if you only have the NerdSeq, you can do so much with this that you can't do without a modular on the side. And also a little bit further up there, the Zoya Eurobureau is coming out very soon. If you only have that, you can also do a lot of stuff. Plus you can do audio effects and stuff with this. So you don't have to have like a whole rack of something extraordinary. Like this time I'm only using NerdSeq, and that's enough to enhance the MATRIARCH and take it to new heights. I think if you don't have any external gear, you can still do some really wild patches, but I think it's in conjunction with an external sequencer, that's when you can really take it to a different level. And if you're into that, then I recommend it even more. If you just want a cool sounding mono synth, yeah, it's cool, but there's probably maybe the smaller one, the grandmother, is good enough for you then. But it has a lovely stereo vibe though. I hope that was a okay answer. How come Cuckoo doesn't have gate and CV expanders? For the NerdSeq? Yeah, I've seen them. I'm super interested in them. And I'm just not sure that I have that much stuff to sequence. So it's like a separate lane of outputs, like wildly huge amount of outputs. I could probably find use for them, but right now I'm trying to keep it small. So that's why I'm kind of not jumping on that. Although I'm very tempted. But yeah, also with modular, I feel like if you can limit yourself, that is a good thing. But I've seen people perform on huge modulars, and they have control of everything. I think I need to take one step at a time, keep it small, keep it focused. Douglas, what do you think of the MATRIARCH? Do you feel like the lack of patch memory impedes you? No, I don't. I think, I mean, I come from a very, very digital background, so I've gotten so used to step sequencing and doing everything in, you can just save a project, load up a new project. So I'm very used to that. But I think this, I wasn't interested in this because of that aspect. This is an exploration. This is a voyage, you know. I want to go places and mess it up. And for that, I'm not really that much into saving patches. So, no, I think it's super cool. Like for the MOOG 1, like a beefy polysynth, that would be such a shame if you couldn't save your patches. That would have been, nobody would have bought it because it's a different type of instrument. But this one, I feel like it's more of exploring. And yeah. So, no, I don't think, I'm not bothered about not being able to save patches. What different from the grandmother? I don't have the grandmother, so I can't compare them. But from what I understand, like the biggest standout difference is that this has a stereo. I mean, the way it speaks to me is the stereo sound here and the dual filters that you can offset. That is making a huge difference for me in how I perceive this instrument. But I really don't know the specs of the grandmother. It's smaller. It has less. Does it have the stereo delay? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't really know. So Onster says noob here too. Yeah, I'm falling in love with the MATRIARCH because it seems powerful, but looks straightforward enough to start with outside of my little pocket operators from teenage engineering. Yeah, that is a good point. I think just knowing that even without any cables, you can still have a lot of fun and do some gnarly stuff, and it sounds great. And that is a really good way of starting out. So yeah, I'm with you. It is easy to use, and then it's also easy to get lost in the beginning. Patches and what does this? Is this an output? Isn't it input? But it's, yeah, you'll learn. Do you have any new T-shirt design coming? Not right now. I just put out like a Club Cuckoo T-shirt on my web store, on my T-shirt store a couple of weeks ago. Some people were bothered because it kind of looks like Club Cook or which is not maybe the best, but I think it looked cool though. I want to make more designs. I really enjoy making designs. So more T-shirts coming. And the T-shirt store, they promised me that I could do a whole cover. They don't do that for many, for everyone, because they print on demand. But with a whole cover T-shirt design, you need to pre-order, I think. And then depending on how many pre-orders, they'll decide on how many prints. But that would be super cool. So a whole cover T-shirt with maybe both on the front and the back. That would be super cool to make. How does NerdSeq compare to Hermod in terms of speed of creation? I think, for me at least, the way I look at Hermod is very different from the NerdSeq. I think, for me, what I thought was beautiful with the Hermod was that I could be totally off the grid, and I didn't have to think about how many notes were in line or quantizing everything. I could do stuff that is widely out of tempo and outside of the grid, freestyling, recording super freestyle. That is something I really appreciate with the Hermod. But I think in terms of making like a set, which I perform a set with beats and repetitive stuff, I think, yeah, I could do like many songs with one NerdSeq project. And I like the little, the tables. You can go in and make tweaks per trig. It's more cumbersome to approach. You can live record stuff, but ultimately you need to go in there and tweak every trigger. And they're totally different for me. So I appreciate both of them. But for me, for my own music style, I think the NerdSeq is something that I would love to take to a gig, whereas the Hermod would be more of an improv session with flowing elements for me. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Hi, from Xinji. Hi. I was wondering what is the difference between grandmother and matriarch. Yeah, we kind of covered that. It's bigger, has stereo, has a bit more going on. Is it more oscillators? I'm sure someone else can answer it better. And also, if you go to MOOG.com, you can see them side by side, and you can compare the number of modules. Or how far am I? Let's see. Oh, grandmother has reverb. Yeah, that's true. That is a very different vibe, having a reverb instead of a stereo delay. Yeah, this kind of goes into reverb territory, but it is a delay, but it has a very nice and smooth tail that kind of becomes I think I have something. I think I need to reboot it. I had an issue yesterday, and it seems to happen again. And it's that at some point, one of the outputs on the modular on the backside just stopped sending out an output. Super weird. So I restarted. Yeah, back to normal. That's weird. It's not supposed to be that way. So, this is not a reverb. I'm keeping it alive. Has a nice vibe, and sometimes when there's a lot going on, it kind of sounds a little bit like a reverb. Yeah, someone else No stereo delay, no stereo filter on grandmother, only LFO. How about oscillators? Is it 4 on the grandmother? Trying to find a module to use with OPZ module, but I'm scared. Yeah, don't blame you. I was super scared for modulars too, and then I went to Bastel's office or community, and they kind of introduced me, but it took years for me before I was like, now I feel like, yeah, I found some modules that speak to me. And that's the thing, modulars, they don't tell you how to play. They kind of ask you, what do you want to play? What do you want to, what do you need? What do you want? How do you want to perform? How do you want to interact? And so there's not one way of approaching modulars. It's as many ways as there's people. Yeah, and also, do you want to only perform on a modular, or just have one particular effect that you really like? Like for instance, on the back here, is it there? Yeah, the Q pass by Make Noise. That is such a lovely and unique filter. It sounds like nothing else, and I just like it so much. So that is going to be in my setup. I'm not sure how to use it, but it brings me kind of joy to, yeah, that sound just sounds so nice. And when you find stuff that you just, ooh, this is nice, then yeah, like for the OPZ with the module inside of it, you have a good sequencer there. So you could sequence some stuff, like if you wanted a really cool, strange FM synth, you could buy just an FM module that has some interesting timbres and ways to being controlled, and then have the rest of the OPZ, and then maybe an effect processor or something. And yeah, and that could be like your super small module case there with just 2 modules or 3. And that, yeah, nobody's telling you how to do it. That's also what's making it so scary, because you don't know if it'll work for you. Yeah, Katrin loves Strymon gear. Yes, Strymon is super nice. They sound so nice. Whatever you throw at it, it sounds nice. Yeah. And also, you've seen in the comments now that Exor Electronics, they have a portable version of NerdSeq coming soon. Maybe not soon, but soon-ish. And that is also super interesting. Something to bring with you. Yeah, the LFO audio rate can be used as an extra oscillator when routed through the noise oscillator in the mixer. Yeah, that is true. That is actually cool, because the mixer here has 4 oscillators and noise, and that could be plugged in here, as you said, to be a 5th oscillator in the mix. Yeah, you can't fine tune it with the same like increments as with these. I felt like it's sort of almost a little bit steppy, but it should be in tune. But in some of the lower frequencies, it's not precisely in tune with this. It's almost. Yeah. The MATRIARCH has a 4-voice paraphonic mode. Yeah, that is a big difference. Paraphonic. I kind of mentioned it before, but if I play this now, let's see. No reverb, no nothing. Okay, and it's in monophonic. So all of the oscillators Well, take this out. Take this out. Okay. And lower the volume a bit. So now all of the oscillators played at the same time. But with paraphonic mode, I can seemingly play polyphony. So it is what's called a paraphonic, is when all of the oscillators go into one signal chain. They're mixed together and going to the same filter, so and have the same envelope. So it's not true polyphony. But I can play it as if it was, and I can sequence it kind of in polyphony. But in the paraphonic mode, I have individual gates, I think, on the oscillators before they entered the mix. And it would have been so nice if I could actually reach into it and control that through CV, but I can't. So and one thing that I like with the paraphonic mode is that to set them to different values, each of them in different octaves, like this. Okay, like this. That's oscillator 1. Oscillator 2 could be in the same octave. Oscillator 3 could be an octave up. How do we make more bass out of this? Maybe do it. Trigger in. Oh. Whoa. Like this, perhaps. That's a bit ridiculous. Too loud, sorry. Yeah, paraphonic, I like it. Sorry, I got carried away there. Yeah, let's see. You painted the sequencer in one video. It's very beautiful, thanks. Make noise, O coast, no coast is a nice way to start modular. Yeah, that's true. No coast is really nice. It's a small modular, a little self-contained modular little device. It has a beautiful tone. And they recently introduced a no control, which is a really interesting sequencer that pairs super nicely with the no coast. Cuckoo. Okay. Rodrigo. Tough question. Okay. If you don't mind. Pick one single polysynth currently available. Super 6, Prophet 6, Wave 2, OB6, Analog 4, the MATRIARCH. I don't really consider this a polysynth, even though it it's a paraphonic. Yeah, out of everything, I don't have these synths. I have the analog keys, analog 4, but out of all of these that you mentioned, I think Super 6 stands out to me. I haven't played it outside of a trade fair, so I haven't really sat down with it and tuned my ears. But I've been, really enjoying that tone of Super 6. It has a very genuine, beautiful tone. I love it. I would like to try it more. Yeah. Have you tried Korg Minilog XD? Can it sound similar to using MOOG sound? The Minilog XD, that's the new one, right? The one with the digital oscillator, the third oscillator. The Minilog XD has this one thing. I think the analog part of it is alright. It's not groundbreaking or amazing in my ears, but it has it has the third the third oscillator that is digital, and third-party developers can develop any type of oscillator for that. And also in the effects section, it's the same thing. It's digital, and I can't remember how many slots are open for it, but a bunch of slots open for external developers to put their own technology into that synth that is on the market already. And that, I think, is the key to why the Minilog XT has such a special future, I think. There's many people making developers making free oscillators for us, and maybe some of them could sound a little bit fat, like the MOOG sound. It's all about the developers, how much they understand audio processing and DSP engineering. If they understand all of this and can create this tactile sound digitally and reproduce it, it can live on the Minilog XT, which is amazing. And also there's some fun I tried one oscillator once where it's just basically a little box in the computer says drop your sample here, and then you drop a sample, and then it compiles itself to play that sample on the third oscillator on the Minilog XT, which is a super fun approach. You just, I need a sample on it, can I do that? No, it doesn't have samples. Well, you can compile a sort of sample to live on it anyway, which is, that's a nice touch. I first saw paraphonic on the Microfreak. Yeah, the Microfreak is the same thing, paraphonic. Yeah, Jake says that there is a fine tune for the filter if you hold down one of the buttons above the mod wheel and then tune the frequency knob. Cool. Yeah, I haven't read the manual, so there's stuff here that I'm sure there's more you can do. There's definitely more you can do. And Felix says, I must admit that my grandmother is a bit jealous of MATRIARCH. Yeah. I don't blame you. But, you know, the grandmother is super nice too. Do you still use the Analog 4 from Electron? Says Bruno. I haven't used it in a good while now. I've been moving towards new stuff and a bit too much, and I enjoy settling for stuff. I was using the analog keys for a long time. That was my main my main synth. I did everything on that. And then I moved on to different things, so I haven't been using the Analog 4 that much recently. I'm exploring new territory, new ground, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. It's super nice. It's one of my favorites. But I'm exploring new territory. And also, when I travel, when I create a set and I travel with that set, I like to keep it as compact as possible. Mostly just with 1 or 2 devices, like the OPZ and the Zoya, for instance. That has been a really good setup for me. The Octatrack alone, the Octatrack and the Zoya. I put the Zoya on everything. Last gig in Australia, that was the Deluge and the Zoya. And that worked really well. So I tend to go towards stuff that I know I can carry myself and perform a set with. And I could do that with the Analog 4 too, but frankly I think the new form factor, it grew a little bit and it became a little bit, it came over the threshold of what I consider being a compact device to bring along. This is certainly not compact. This is almost compact. It's actually quite slim in this case, but I want to make it even more compact. But this, I don't see myself traveling with this. No way. This is gonna break my back. But yeah, long answer for a short question. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't kept up with all the comments here. Yeah. So, should I do? Is there anything in particular you're wondering about? I haven't really touched the sequencer right now on the MATRIARCH itself. Maybe I could do that, just to give a little touch of what the sequencer is like. Okay, the sequencer here, it's nice. You have 4 sequencer memories. I have no idea how much you can store, how many nodes. I need to check it up. And then you have 3 banks. Each bank has 4 sequences, so 12. So let's select bank number 3 and the sequence number 1. Turn this to sequence. This is tiny on your screen. It's like, to rec, and then I'm just gonna start punching notes. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to sequence and press play and hold and play. So how about this? It's nice. there's a neat thing called ratchet and one thing called tie and rest. Rest is making a break. Tie is tying notes together. Ratchet is firing off the note a couple of times. It's twice, right? A double trick. So I can punch that in. If it's playing, and when it's playing, turn it to rec. I can punch in some ratchets. I'm not sure. I could probably punch in rest too. Let's see. Probably ties too. I could probably punch in some notes. Let's try that. No, it just... yeah, it does. That is nice. I like this destructive, not thinking about saving. I could just change this. I like this. So that could be a fast way to kind of jam to anything coming in, and you can keep it in sync to anything that you want to sync. So the sequencer, super nice. And also while it's playing, you got 3 different modes. You play forward and backwards. It's going to play the whole to the end and then reverse it. Or random, which is going to play random steps within the sequence you created. So, oops, play, hold. And also, oh no, I started recording, it was still recording. Okay, I'm going to make a new one. Record. I'm gonna make it super nice now. How about that? Okay, over the top, cool. Now I'm gonna make a pitched vibrato. So now I'm gonna turn it to random. And when it's playing, I'm transposing. So now back to yeah, so what I could do is, I'm not sure if I could perform on the ratchet. Yeah, I could do it. And it's restart when I press a key. this is nice. Yeah, so that's the sequencer. I really like it, and yeah, I do. It's nice, super simple to use, and also one of these ways of exploring, and you can overdub and change it, and yeah, it's cool. A bop. Wow, this is fantastic. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it. Hey guys, remember to hit like. You know, I never say like and subscribe in my videos, but I know it's making a difference in the YouTube algorithm. If you like it, press like. I think it does make a difference, but I just feel it feels weird to say that. That's not why I do these videos. It's not because I want likes. Yeah, I like you though. Sounds like the soundtrack of 2001 if Stanley Kubrick used a toy piano in the room filled with helium. Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think I'm gonna call it quits. I haven't even checked the time. What time is it? Yeah, it's probably somewhere where I can see for how long I've been streaming. Maybe on my computer. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's about an hour, isn't it? I'm not sure. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. It's been really nice, and I hope you enjoyed it. I don't have the best lighting at home, so I'm relying on the window, letting the light in. So I take a look at the video here. I see that it's kind of turning dark. I should up the ISO or something on the camera. Yeah, but I hope you found some of this interesting and maybe helpful or just enjoyable. And yeah, thanks so much, and thank you everyone who threw in some donation like Mads just did. Thank you so much for that. That is really helpful. It adds up. The times are kind of shaky, so I appreciate every support I get, and I just want you to know that don't feel like you have to donate or anything. I know times are tough, and some people don't even have the means to. Yeah, maybe you're struggling with your rent even during this time. So yeah, take it, save your money. But if you want, I'm here. Yeah. So and thank you XOR Electronics for joining in. Really enjoyed seeing you here, and I hope to see you soon. I was gonna see you in Berlin not too many weeks ago, but for obvious reasons all of those trade fairs are cancelled. So next time. Thanks Cuckoo. See you later. Yeah, see you, Sarumi. Have a great weekend. You too. Thank you. You're awesome. Well, you're awesome. You're the best. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I saw it on Instagram that Bad Snacks is streaming on MOOG. She's probably playing the Super Harmonicon. Yeah, good you told me that. It's starting in 19 minutes, so this is a really good time to quit the stream, take a glass of water, and then check out what they're gonna do. I'm sure it's going to be over the top. Bad Snacks, she is such a talented, I mean, talented is a strange word. It kind of implies that you have it for free, but no, there's so much hard work. She is a hard-working producer. She's making absolutely amazing stuff. I think she's talented too, but above all, hard work pays off in the end. So go catch the stream. I'm not sure if it's only gonna be her or if it's part of a thing. But yeah, that is true. Go there. Cool. And yeah, I think that's it. And I'm gonna use this a lot in my coming months. I think this is gonna be one of these that is gonna be used over the years to come. You have a gnarly idea, you can figure it out on this. Yeah, it's an exploration platform. You can't do everything, but as an analog exploration synth, I dig it. Cool. And with those words, I'm gonna end the stream here. Just say thank you for Suspendal for your donation. Sick bloops, homie. Stay safe. You too. Stay safe, everyone. And oh, Bad Snacks streamed a couple of days ago. Okay, I just saw a note on Instagram today. Maybe it was an old post. Okay, my finger is moving to my streaming device, and it's gonna press stream off. And by the way, this is streaming. I'm so happy about this. This is streaming, doing all the streaming. I don't need a computer to do streaming, so this is doing it for me. Cool. This is good stuff. Okay, take care everyone, and see you soon again.